This week's channeled message from the angels is a new call to action for light workers. And I use the term light workers to mean anybody that is here to help. Some of us came volunteered to be here. Others have picked up the spiritual path on the way. If you are here to help, if you want to help with this process of ascension, with this shift that we are going through, then that fits my definition of light worker. And this message is asking us to step up during this potential hardship that we are about to go through. So welcome back to my channel, you guys. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me. And I got to tell you, thank you so much for your comments. I read all of them. I see some of you comment every time and I read them and I'm so grateful to you. So thank you very, very much. And for those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Ann Tucker. I'm a trance channel. By trance, I mean I go into a deep meditative state. And from there, I raise my consciousness up as high as I can go, a little higher. And I connect at the angelic realm. And then I bring through healing and messages, which I share here for you guys on YouTube. So, and the last many messages we've been receiving have been sort of a week by week, play by play. What are we going through right now through this process, this great shift in consciousness that humanity is experiencing? And this message, today's message, is an incredibly inspiring one. And it talks about on the horizon, some major upheavals. And at the end of the message, I asked them to get more specific about what is that going to look like. So that's towards the end of the message. But the main thing they wanted to talk about was that there's going to be people who are really hurting, and we need to be there for them, to carry the light, to show them the way through. So it's a very inspiring message. The format is the same as usual. I will read the message, and then after I read it all the way through, just go back, go ahead and sit back and listen and let it sink in, feel the frequencies. Afterwards, I break it down paragraph by paragraph so that we can go through and understand it in more depth. So I want to remind you guys, those of you who are in peace bathing, I had to move it from last week to this Sunday, just because I was traveling at the time and I wasn't going to be in a good place to do the session. So for peace bathing members, session is this Sunday, and you'll be getting your reminders with the links and all that kind of stuff. So just so you know, it's coming up Sunday. Coming up is our session. So, and then I also want to tell you guys, hey, good morning. Martha's just joining in. Good morning. I want to let you guys know something that I have had in the works that this is just the first time that I'm really going to be talking about it. You guys know part of my journey has always been, and I think of all of our journey, is that the minute we get comfortable with something, we get pushed out of the nest. Like the minute we're like, hey, I got this. This is how I work. They're like, not anymore. Here's a new thing you do. And I have been going through that, this new thing that the angels have been bringing in, that is really exciting for me. I'm very, very excited about it. It is, and they've been basically saying, okay, it's time to stop some of these things you've been doing and now to refocus your efforts and refocus your energy. And it's a new form of healing. So it's been a big stretch for me. I've been doing practice sessions, and I'll tell you about it, what it is. And it showed up first in my dreams and in meditation. And it is a way of bringing energy through that has the potential to do instantaneous healing. And I don't know how that's going to play out. Like a lot of this is I learn about it as I go. I just they point me in the direction. They say, go this way, and I go, and then things work out. But this is a new way of bringing through energy that it can be very, very transformative for people. And the goal of the process is to bring people into balance. So you guys know how I've talked about like our axis, that as we begin our life, we kind of come in, if you think of us like the earth, and our axis is tilted and we're kind of over here. And as we go through life, these are our wounds that we kind of lean in one direction or the other. And then as we go through life, there are times where we're able to come back to center and we have those blessed like moments of connection or clarity or whatever it is. And then we come back to our set point, which is over here somewhere. And we work and we work and we work, trying to clear ourselves and trying to learn and trying to grow and get to the place where we can be here all the time. And we can, we make progress, but it is the work of a lifetime. It's hard work. And a lot of times it is lonely work, right? Trying to figure it out. One of the biggest challenges we have is we don't know what the issues are that are in the way. It's very, very hard. Even with us confronting ourselves in the world every day, it's very hard for us to see what our issues are. And this process, and I'm sure the only reason they're bringing this through right now is because we are so close to massive transformation on the planet. And so they're like, okay, it's time to just create some shortcuts is really, I think, what's going on. So I think they're saying this is a time, it is in our highest and best to allow us to heal at a much faster rate. And the support is here right now. So that is what they are now putting forward, asking me to channel in these sessions, which I'm calling soul convergence. And it's about, I call it soul convergence because it's, you guys know, we've talked about how in this life we have the ability to draw forward all of our past lives. This is different from any other lifetime we've had. All of our other lifetimes, we carefully select those past life influences that we want to bring into our life to work on, or that maybe they had skills or things that we wanted to draw on in that life. This is a turning point. This life is a turning point where we are shifting to a new level of consciousness. So they're like, go for broke, do it all, have access to everything. So this process draws all of you, all the aspects of you back up into the now, and allows them, if you think of them all as like different points of view pointing in all these different directions, it aligns all of them into your own central column of life, your own truth. It allows you to integrate all these pieces. And then from that place, you are able to hold that balance much more, hopefully 100%, right? And it doesn't mean from that point forward that we're healed forever. It doesn't mean that from that point forward we don't still have issues in our life. It means that we respond to them differently because our set point is in balance. And so occasionally you might get knocked off balance. There might be something in your life that happens that's like, oh my gosh, like you could still get in a car crash and it's going to throw you out of whack. But your set point is here. So you can't help but naturally drift back into that connection. And that's the goal. That's what we're trying to get to. So that's what this process is meant to do. And my understanding is that it will work. It can be remarkably effective. The kind of things it won't affect are things that are part of your life plan. Like if you are meant to have a particular wounding because it's going to help you to meet the love of your life, it's not going to heal that. Like there is discernment. It's a process led by the angels, so it's done with discernment. But I've been doing practice sessions. And part of the cool thing about this program is that I'm working with what I call the dream team. So the graduates of Michael Sheridan's program, of his, there are the people who have been certified in the Ashling School of Dream Interpretation are going to be working with me to help people track their progress through the whole program. So you will be able to see for yourself exactly what is happening as you go through the healing. You'll see, your dreams will show you, and you will have private sessions with dream analysts who will help you to identify how you are changing and shifting, which only amplifies the process. It is the coolest thing, right? It's especially because you guys know how much I believe in that work. So yeah. So anyways, it's super exciting. And you guys are the first people I'm telling about this. It's called Soul Convergence, and I just now have the website up, and I'm going to put the link in it for you guys to check out. I'm going to do some webinars on it where I'll go into it in more detail and give you more information. But it's an 11-week process. So there's 4 weeks where we're going to focus on masculine energy, and then we take a 2-week break for integrating, and you can do your sessions with the dream analyst at any point during the time. So as you have dreams, and we'll talk about methods of remembering your dreams. I may even do an extra healing to help clear any blocks to remembering your dreams. I've done that for people, and that does work. And then, so 4 weeks on the masculine, 2-week break, 5 weeks on feminine energy. And we do sessions twice a week, and it is just a consistent reapplication of this energy. And the people who have been going through the practice sessions with me have said that it has been a remarkable transformation. Their dreams have shown aspects of themselves coming back from the dead. So it has been incredible. And I'm super excited to invite you guys to participate. So I'm keeping the pricing what I think is very, very reasonable for what you're getting. It's, I think, $1,500, $1,499 for the entire program, for the entire 11-week program. And there is a payment plan to make it easier. So if you guys want to know more, like I said, I'm going to put the link in the box here, and I'm also going to do some webinars on this so we can talk about it, answer questions. I'm also going to be doing some sharing of information about what masculine and feminine energy is and how this all fits into this time, this period of time that we are in. I shared some of this information at the Spirit Summit. And it's a mind blower when you get the whole picture. And I know a lot of you guys work in this all the time, but there are meta layers that we never talk about. And they fit into this whole understanding of what we've been calling the ascension or the shift. What is it? And it's all about this. So anyways, I am excited for you guys to join in. And like I said, I'll let you guys know about the webinars. They're going to be coming up. The website is up, and the link isn't on my front page yet. I will fix that today. But if you go to anntucker.com soul-convergence, you will see the website. And all the pictures are from my trip. I've been having fun with that. So let me see your comments. You're saying, good morning, everyone. Hey, Kirsten, great to see you. Adrian, great to see you. You say, wow, I totally feel the pushing out of the nest. Yes, me too. Nice to see everyone. You're saying, Martha saying, Michael Sheridan is also pushing me to go further. Yep. You say, as are my dreams. Yes. So exciting. Thank you so much. This is totally amazing. And thank you so much, Rebecca. It's going to be a super, I cannot wait to see what happens. You're saying, and you and the angels have been such a huge influence on my spiritual development. Thank you so much, Patty. You're saying, I'm so excited about seeing you at the retreat. Yay! Huge hug. Sign me up for the dream interpreting soul convergence. How exciting. Yes. All right. Teresa's saying, I wish there was a contraption to record our dreams. I never remember, no matter how many things I've tried. I totally get it, Teresa. I am going to see what happens if I do a healing, because like I said, I've done it for individuals where I've done a healing that helped them to remember their dreams and it worked. And so I will be curious if I do that for our soul convergence group, if that helps. I bet you it will. I'd be very excited, at least for many. We'll see what happens. You're saying, so exciting. Thank you. And then you're saying, blue lotus blossoms and hot water help me remember my dreams. One night I had 4 long dreams. Ooh, good to know. Barbara says, sounds great. Thanks, Barbara. You're saying, it is an amazing program. I, for one, have greatly benefited from the masculine energy portion. That's the part we practiced so far. Thanks so much, Martha. Right. Oh, Amina just posted it. Thank you so much. And you'll see that picture of one of the waterfalls I saw in Iceland. Oh my gosh, it was stunning, you guys. Like definitely like a bucket list trip for sure. So, all right. Are you guys ready to dig into the message today? I am. I've highlighted so many bits on here. There's so much good stuff in here. And like I said last night, I read it and I'm like, oh, I thought it was gobbledygook because I cannot, the day that I channel it, for whatever reason, I read it and it's like the brain just doesn't work. I can't understand it until the next day. But here we are, ready to share it, and it is cool. Okay, so if you guys are ready, let's dig in. And if you have questions about the program, put them in the chat and then I can just answer them afterwards. But like I said, I'll be sending more information. I'll be letting you guys know about the webinars, and they'll be telling you about the program, but also helping to share this information about where this all fits, this bigger picture, which I personally think I love that kind of stuff. I super geek out on the kind of big picture conversation. So if you like that too, come and join me. It'll be fun. Even if you just come to the webinar, you'll get something out of it for sure. So, all right, here we go. I'm calling this Lightworkers, your call to serve is coming. And the caveat is, as Teresa mentioned, I know you guys have been already working really hard. So this is a new call to serve, another call to serve. All right, so here we go. They say, we begin. We are sharing what is near, what is coming soon. The beginning shall bring a feeling of unity and oneness, a sense of yourselves as overcoming what has been, a unification of your own hearts as one being. We wish to bring to your attention the formation of something on the horizon, of the next instantiation of this opening. Be aware that for some it is troublesome. There are hardships on the horizon. There is, within this opening, a tendency to follow through to your own choosing, to feel that you are led in a direction that is ended, to feel that all arrives and settles down and becomes something unwanted. There are happenings on the horizon just beginning that will settle within the field of this now as something of loss, an instantiation of hardship. And for this, we are sorry. We are sorry for your losses, of loved ones for some, of settlement. Feel always that centered self and unified trust can come to now with new openings, to feel the self lifted and rising. Know that what once was always has been passing, has always been in the follies of humankind, has always been in the remnants of hardship that has been assigned to yourselves. And this we would dispense with and be done with forever. We wish not to deny yourselves that recompense for hard work, that sensation of being in command of something, the willingness to bring yourselves fully to this incarnation, the sense you are entrusted with life, the caretaker of your own vision. But we would say that hereafter, the folly of humankind troubles no longer the greater sense of who you are. And the next becoming opens you now to become more of what is possible. Thus, the foundation of hardship is the dispersal of the troublesome commitment to a reality whose time has come and gone. We wish for the selves to rise now to the next becoming. Feel in your heart absolution for what must pass. Sense you are lifted, unbridled, with compassion for those who will suffer still with remorseful regret about what they've lost. We say for some there is being encountered this seldom viewed aspect of themselves, which is now on display, the tormentor of their deepest selves. We wish to realign you now to trust in us and yourselves, trust in the fortunes of the many that rise into the new dawn. Feel in your heart that all is well. You might stay and be, offering the many the sense that what is becoming will allow the few to bridge the memory of the gap between us and become the portal for the rest of humanity. We are staying within the concentrated lines of your arousal. The sleepy times are past, and you are becoming, quickening with every moment. You feel us near, and we stay in resolve to help you pass. We say in summary, the times ahead contain for you now a digestion of what was hardship in the times of memory. They stay in your hearts not long, but must be processed in the times ahead. The feelings of loss will be present, the sense of I have come and gone, and here I stay without. But know thyself in purity, in truth. You are always in a valley of hope and forgiveness when these teachings pass through. You are always in the river of the gestational field where things are created. You are always the instigators of your reality and focus. Thus, what comes for you will be determined by the hearts you carry and the feelings that determine your way forward. Thus we offer you now the hands we hold out to gather you closer, to draw you toward us, to move internal the objective you carry. What shall pass and become must stay the alignment to your truth and this only. And to trust all will follow in this regard. To feel for yourselves that you must only be guided by the column of light that enters you now, and to trust this as always, and to know no fear, as the hearts of many may be troubled. You can rest assured you are guided to your truth and serenity. And so here the message ended, but I was curious. So I asked, what do they mean? I said, can I ask more specifically, what is the hardship on the horizon? And here's what they said. There is coming a time of great friction between others. Parties, yes, politics, and within the world of finance. There becomes a celebrated talk of upliftment that may not come to pass, Thus all will follow the truth of this promise and feel themselves dejected as all tumbles into loss. And this we project forward to your knowledge as coming fast and soon. We feel within these horizon times that you will entrust to yourself the guardianship of hardship and feel yourselves well worthy of these tasks of caring for those who feel lost. To know you are lifted among us and not lost. Don't tarry in the memory of what was. Simply be yourselves among us, among the light you carry, and know you are bridging the rest to their own unification with ourselves. The specifics of what you will encounter are coming within the time frame of the spectacle on the horizon, the instrument of the divine, which will shatter the perspectives of the meek and mild, who may feel themselves overshadowed far too long, and may see within this guidance a perspective, an envoy to be carried forward. But in truth, all are valued in equal, the proud and the shamed. All are held in loving guidance. All are entrusted to the divine and in friendship with one another. And we wish to prove yourselves your worth simply by the bridging of these times. To show yourselves the meekness and the folly are but one reflection of the same. And you are within the guidance of your hearts as you move between these points of consciousness. And then I asked, is this economic hardship a crash of the markets or the banks? And they say, all will fall through, tumble far beyond the near and done. There will be great trouble in the horizon of fortunes, and this must be known to yourselves. There will be an unfolding of catastrophic proportions where all enveloped within the greed of having too many will be wanting for more and finding they are lacking. And in these times of suffering, though they are carrying hearts of even quality, all as you are, they are suffering differently. And we offer each the avenue of rescue, which is yourselves. Your open hearts shall serve to bridge the gap of rescue. So, right? And don't you love how at the end, I can't really follow what they're saying, but I heard them say something about fortunes and economy. And so I just keep asking like the specifics, and they keep getting it back to spirit and back to spirit. I keep saying, but which one? Is it politics? Is it banks? And they're like, and let's talk about love. It's just, I can't understand them all that well when I'm in channel. So, but yes, avenues of rescue. That last line, I just like this part right here. In these times of suffering, though they are carrying hearts of even quality, all as you are, they are suffering differently. Like that part, boom, they're suffering differently. So we can't really understand, like they're the same as us, but they will experience this very differently. And then they say, and we offer each the avenue of rescue, which is yourselves. Your open hearts shall serve to bridge the gap of rescue. Yeah, right? I know you're saying, whoa, I know, this is what I felt too. We are the avenue of rescue. Yes, 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 yes. So this is what I'm saying, the call to serve, right? This is it. And to understand, like it comes on the heels of people feeling super lost, right? And they're saying it's fortunes. It's like people who have accumulated a lot, and then it is one of the hardest things on humans to feel the loss of something they've owned. Right? Like we value things, we get invested in things, we have an identity. People don't understand we are okay without it. Like you can meet your needs. It's like they said earlier in this message, which I love, this part right here, that you are, they said it so beautifully, that you are in like a river of the gestational something or other. Where is it? Oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I have to go back and find it. But the idea is that we always have the ability to create as we move through life, that we, especially as we grow into this new shift of consciousness, that the idea of accumulating and hoarding doesn't make sense anymore, right? And that's what they're talking about. And it's freeing when you understand your needs can be met in this gestational river as you flow through life. It's a beautiful thing. So let's go ahead and dig into the message. You're saying holy need for reciprocity, Batman. It's super true, Rebecca. Super true. So are you guys ready to hear it? Let's go ahead and break it down paragraph by paragraph. They say, okay, we begin. We are sharing what is near, what is coming soon. The beginning shall bring a feeling of unity and oneness, a sense of yourselves as overcoming what has been, a unification of your own hearts as one being. So I love that in one paragraph, boom, they are telling us what this ascension or shift is all about. It is about the unification of our hearts. It is the balancing of our masculine and feminine sides, which is all about what this soul convergence program is all about. And I know lots of you are working on this right now. It's an issue we're all focused on because it is the issue, right? So we're trying to unification of our hearts. It's a sense of ourselves as overcoming what has been, getting past. So this is where we're heading, right? And they're calling it the beginning. It's not like the goal, it's the beginning. So this is the next phase for humanity, right? A feeling of unity and oneness. That's where we're headed. All right, they go on to say, we wish to bring to your attention the formation of something on the horizon, of the next instantiation of this opening. Be aware that for some it is troublesome. There are hardships on the horizon. There is within this opening a tendency to follow through to your own choosing. Right? That's an interesting sentence there. So they're saying, okay, be aware, this is coming. There's stuff coming on the horizon, the next instantiation of this opening. So they've been telling us this is happening in phases. We've been going through sort of like even COVID was part of it. All of these things are like stepping stones that they're guiding us through this process of shifting. And be aware that for some, it is troublesome. So they've been really, really clear with us that we are ready to move into this energy now. And many of us are doing our best to hold it now. And that it's like they've talked about this flash of light that's coming. And as it moves through us, is anything that we are in resistance to is painful. But they said this light is not meant to hurt anybody. It's meant to be a beautiful blessing for humanity. But if we resist it, it will feel hard. It will feel like hardship. And so this experience that we're going to be moving through will affect everybody differently. And those that are super clinging to what was, super clinging to the way we've solved problems in the past, are going to feel it as really, really painful. But for those of us who are willing to be in the flow and to trust and to have faith that we're going to be carried and that we carry ourselves by the, as they describe it, by the hearts that we have, by the feelings we have, that we move through it, right? That we're holding love. And so we're going to meet love. That we're going to be completely okay. And that's the idea, right? But we have to then help. That's also the idea. We have to help. And you're saying the feeling of unity and oneness. I love that. Yes. Hello. Hey, Camille. Great to see you. You're saying, Adrian's saying, whoa, exactly. I was channeling this morning and I wrote, lift our lamps beside the golden door. Be light, be love to all. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. Yes, that's totally it. Teresa's saying, so as Lightworkers, I'm feeling the message is we will be the peaceful island in the storm for others to come to, for help, for family, for neighbors. 100%. That is exactly what I'm getting to. And it is, I think it's going to happen in a bunch of different ways. I think we're all going to serve in the unique ways that we are built, right? We all, some of us serve by just holding the light, by being that positive force. So people recognize, wow, that person always, manages to bring light into a room. And then some of you are, channels or teachers or coaches, or, you're doing different things. Some of you are just incredible parents, right? And you're doing this for your children. And that is massive. I know what an incredible job that is, having done it myself. And so that may be the way that you are serving, and that is hugely valuable. So it just depends on how we're each built, but it is by being the light, by holding it, right? And sharing it with whoever it is that we are meant to share it with. Yeah. And Lightworkers, by the word Lightworkers, I just want to be clear because I know there's different definitions of that. What I mean by that is those of us who've chosen to be here at this time to be of service, and anyone else who has come along the way, right? It's an open door to people who are willing to embrace this path and then willing to turn around and help others. That's what I mean by it. All right. So here they say, so this is coming. There are hardships on the horizon. There is within the opening a tendency to follow through to your own choosing. So, and I think this is that idea that we are stuck in the rut of following the path that we've laid out for ourselves. And we think that that is the way forward. And that's what they're talking about. They're saying that there are so many best laid plans that are not going to work out. And that's why people are going to be suffering, is because they're attached to a specific method or a specific outcome. And giving that up is painful. And the more that they resist by trying to hold on to that, the harder it will be. And that is the challenge, I think. So they say to feel you are led in a direction that is ended, to feel that all arrives and settles down and becomes something unwanted. So it's that idea of just being super disappointed, feeling loss is really what they're talking about here. And they go on to say there are happenings on the horizon for just beginning that there are happenings on the horizon just beginning that will settle within the field of this now as something of loss, an instantiation of hardship, and for this we are sorry. We are sorry for your losses. And I love that they acknowledge that. Like they know that what the human, most angels have never had the human experience. There are some that have, but they can feel that we are sad. They can feel what that suffering is. And they see all time as now, so they know how we're going to be feeling. And they're like, they are sorry that we are going to be going through a period of loss. And that loss may affect you peripherally. There may be things that we each lose in our life in one way or another. It's hard to identify how that will come about. And we may be totally good with that loss, but it is still a loss. And so they're sorry for that. And I think they're also saying they're sorry for the people who are going to really feel it. And that's big. And I think we are going to be feeling that too. And they're trying to prepare us for that, right? Trying to prepare us to deal with how do we cope with being around people who are really struggling and trying to help us have tools for that. Right. And they clarify here, they say of loved ones for some. So some people might lose other people that they love, people who are choosing to just bail, leave the planet at this time. And they say of settlement, the losses of loved ones, losses of settlement. So settlement would be like the things that make them feel safe. Right. So the things they've counted on, the way they've sort of stacked up their life in the old way of trying to build a little fortress around themselves to keep them safe. And we're not meant to be in a fortress anymore. We're meant to be in flow. And you can't be in flow if you're in a fortress. Yeah. Mike says, hi, Anne, I'm somewhat late, lost track of time. Glad you're here, Mike. Thanks for joining in. All right, they go on to say, feel always that centered self and unified trust can come to now with new openings, to feel the self lifted and rising. So here they're saying feel always, and they're giving it a name. One name is centered self, and the next thing is unified trust. So centered self is that us in balance, like when we have our masculine and feminine energy in balance, when we are centered and connected to our own light. That is that centered self, and then unified trust is trust in ourselves, trust in each other, trust in our higher self and the divine. So that is unified trust. It is a reference to oneness, right? So that when we have centered self, which is balanced in our heart, and when we have that oneness, that unified trust, that can always come to new openings, to feel the self lifted and rising. So this is a state we're trying to hold, that when we're there, we are always in an opening, in this being lifted and rising. They say, know that what once was always has been passing. So I love this section, right? In this section, what they're saying is that that the way things have been were never meant to be permanent. So what once was always has been passing. It was never meant. It's not eternal like we are, right? It's always meant to be passing. Has always been in the follies of humankind. So in other words, the way things have not been us at our highest expression, right? They've been us in a lot of ways mucking through our most difficult aspects, They go on to say, has always been in the remnants of hardship that have been assigned to yourselves. So the way we've been living our lives up until now, each life is like stitching together the remnants of hardships of other experiences, which we would also have called karma. Remnants of hardships, leftover bits we didn't resolve. And we would stitch all those together and say, this is who I am. I am this person who didn't feel loved, who, got left by a partner, who got all whatever it is, right? All of the past wounds of these past lies, had my head cut off, whatever it was. All of those bits, those traumas, that's who we have defined, how we defined ourselves, right? And they say has always been. So in other words, the lives we've been going through have always been in the remnants of hardship that have been assigned to yourselves. Assigned by who? By ourselves, right? We are the ones who assign our own karma. Be a karma, I mean just just the judgments we make against ourselves only. No one else judges us but us. Yeah. And Teresa's saying the same as everything changes, nothing remains the same. Yes, absolutely. And then they go on to say, and this we would dispense with and be gone forever, be gone with forever. So, which I love that. They say that in terms of that way of being, they're ready to let go. They want us to let go of it. They say there's something better that we are ready for, is to be done with that rehashing of all of our past gunk. They go on to say, this next paragraph is basically saying it's good for us to be engaged in life like that. And we know that. We know that we get more out of it. It's a richer experience when we are engaged. And they say, we wish not to deny yourselves that recompense for hard work, right? So in other words, they want us to apply ourselves, they want us to feel rewarded by applying ourselves. Recompense is like reward. They go on to say that sensation of being in command of something, the willingness to bring yourselves fully to this incarnation, to feel you are entrusted with life, the caretaker of your own vision. So they're saying this is great. They want us to have that sensation of being, and there's a word for it. I can't remember at the moment. I have like jet lag still, and I keep losing words. But it's that idea of feeling like you have the ability to make an impact on your life, right? The ability to change your life. And that's an empowering, uplifting feeling. And they don't want us to lose that. They're saying, but we would say that hereafter, the folly of humankind troubles no longer the greater sense of who you are. So even though they still want us to have that sense and to be engaged and to have that sense, that locus of control, that we can make a change and impact in our lives, they want us to know that going forward, it's going to be a different world, that the way things were won't bother us any, that we won't have those same bothers or troubles to deal with. They say, and the next becoming opens you now to become more of what is possible. So they're saying, this is great. This is good news. Like, you're not going to have to deal with all of those past issues. They go on to say, thus, the foundation of hardship. I love this. This is the new definition of what does hardship mean in this new life that we're moving into. Hardship now means that it is the dispersal of troublesome commitment to a reality whose time has come and gone. That is what hardship means. It's being committed to the past. Right? Like, that to me was really a powerful statement, because we think of hardship now as something that is like an external thing we go through. We think of it as like, it's running up against obstacles in life, right? Not being able to, have the life you want, feeling constrained or constricted or put upon or whatever it is. And they're saying, nope, not anymore. The new definition of hardship is basically having a troublesome commitment to a reality whose time has come and gone. Right. And then that feeling of like, okay, I can't have what was anymore. That is the new hardship. And I think that is really what this whole message is about, is telling us there are going to be a ton of people in the world who feel that, who have that troublesome commitment, and that we have the opportunity to step into this energy now and to be a bridge and to be a light that helps to move them past it, to let go of what was and to recognize there's a better way. I had a super, super, super cool vision in my meditation this morning, that in this vision I saw myself. I opened up the meditation and I saw they showed me standing at the edge of a cliff, and there was a bridge in front of me to the other side, and the bridge was dark. Like, I could see the gap, but the bridge was like in shadow. And as I stepped up, and I felt nervous about walking up. It felt ominous, right? The feeling of it was like scary. And the angels were with me, and I felt, okay, I'm supposed to cross this. Like, what am I supposed to do as I'm entering this meditation? And I thought, okay, bridge, I should be crossing this bridge. So I said, okay, I'm just going to kind of build up my nerve. And I walked up to cross it. And as I get closer, the bridge starts collapsing in on itself, and it becomes scarier and darker, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I'm thinking, how do I make this better? Like, how do I work with this vision? So I imagined a new bridge coming down over it. And and I imagined this being open and light and airy, but it was grainy and filmy, and it was like, I know it's not landing. It's not like, I know right underneath it is the scary bridge. But I thought, okay, I just got to go anyways. So in the meditation, I step forward and I just step out onto this, whatever bridge it is. I just kind of go, and I'm walking, and I'm not on any bridge at all. And all of a sudden, I am walking out into the middle of the space between the two cliffs, and I'm walking off to the left in the air. And here's what's trippy, is that the air it starts to feel like it's almost solid. Like I feel it thick around my feet and around my legs, and I can just stand in the air. Like I'm just hanging out in this gap, and I realize I am not only totally safe, but wow, I can walk anywhere, And it was showing me that getting to the other side is not the objective. Like I was focused on I have to cross. I have to get over there, and I need a bridge to get me there. And they're like, no, you have to completely break that entire paradigm, because what's available to you now is you can walk on the air. And you can go anywhere. You don't have to go in a straight line. You don't even need to get to the other side, because all of the air is your playground. So I love that. Like who wouldn't love that? It was a super cool vision and experience, in the meditation. Yeah. So you're saying, co-creation. Yes, absolutely. And you're saying, love this new definition of hardship. Me too. And you're saying the new now. Yep. And Rebecca says, jump and you will be caught. Exactly. But it was really, really cool is that it was, because I thought I didn't mention that as I stepped on the bridge, I was holding my angel's hands like, okay, let's go. And then I realized, no, I can walk on. The air is thick. That was the paradigm shift for me. The air is thick. You don't even need a bridge. You can just walk right out on it. Like, don't go do that. Air isn't actually thick. It's a metaphor, but still a super cool metaphor. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Buoyancy is the new getting to the other side. Yes. Right. I know. And you're saying, love that vision in your meditation. Thanks, Sherry. Yeah. It was a really, really cool one. So, okay. So let's see. Where was I? So here we are, and they're saying, where is it? Sorry, I just lost my place. Okay, they go on to say they don't want to deny us our being engaged in life, but that things are changing. And the definition of hardship, we went through that, the definition of hardship. So now they go on to the next paragraph. We wish for the selves to rise now to the next becoming. Feel in your heart absolution for what must pass. And absolution means forgiveness. So it's like they're recognizing, like I said, they are sorry for the losses that humanity is going to undergo. And that's losses of political stability, losses of, the great financial structures in the world, losses, and there could be loss of life in places, right? We've been seeing that. They've been talking about massive flooding, and boy, is that happening, right? And massive, horrific loss of life. And so they're saying that we need to feel in our heart forgiveness. And so, because there can be a tendency, during those difficult times to blame the divine, why did this have to happen? So we need to find absolution for what must pass, find forgiveness. Since you are lifted, unbridled, with compassion for those who will suffer still, with remorseful regret of what they've lost. So this is what they're really calling us to do, is to feel compassion, to find our greatest compassion for those people who are really, really struggling with this process. They say, we say for some there is being encountered this seldom viewed aspect of themselves, which is now on display, the tormentor of their deepest selves. Like that is just, woo. So this is what they're saying is happening, and why this is happening is they're saying for those people who are really, really struggling with the loss, they probably will never have felt that kind of loss in this lifetime before. And going through this is helping to pull up their deepest wounds. Right? It is pulling forward their deepest vulnerabilities and their deepest fears. And that is what this is all about, the tormentor of their deepest selves, right? So they're saying that they're encountering that as seldom viewed aspect of themselves, which is now on display, right? That is what's going on. And that's why they need our compassion, right? And you're saying, as we are approaching the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur, we, the collective, are deeply in the time of forgiveness. How perfect. I love the timing. All right. So then they go on to say, we wish to realign you now to trust in us and yourselves. Trust in the fortunes of the many that rise into the new dawn. And I love here that they say trust in the fortunes of the many that rise into the new dawn. So they're saying you're going to be all right. That, yeah, they're talking about a massive shift in financial structures, political structures, all these things, the fortresses that we build around ourselves. But they're telling us we can walk on air, that we don't need a fortress, that we can live in flow. And so we need to start practicing living in flow, like allowing it to happen, not feeling like we have to control or plan so much, relying on that flow, right? And so they say, trust in the fortunes of the many that rise to the new dawn. Feel in your heart that all is well. You might stay and be. Offering the many. So this is interesting. This is the next part saying, like, here we are, those of us who feel we want to serve, who might stay and be, offering the many the sense that what is becoming will allow the few to bridge the memory of the gap between us. So here they're saying, we want to give others the sense that there are some among us, those of us who are deeply participating in this ascension already, in this shift already, who are ready to bridge the memory of the gap between us, who are ready to connect to the angels, connect to the divine, right? We're ready to bridge that gap now. And they say, and become the portal for the rest of humanity. So that is what we by being the light need to convey to others, that there are those among us who can help, who can be the bridge, who can bring them to the light, that they're not on their own, that they're not abandoned, that they're not here without help. They have help, and that help is us. And that's what they're saying, that we might stay and be. And I love that they say you might. They're saying you don't have to, right? No one's making you do this, that you are here by choice. You came by choice, and it's always a choice. So you might stay and be, right? Offering the many the sense that what is becoming will allow the few to bridge the memory of the gap between us and become the portal for the rest of humanity, right? That there is help here. Yeah, help here on the planet, which is us. They go on to say, we are staying within the concentrated lines of your arousal. So I love this, that they're describing our awakening, the stage of awakening that we are all in terms of humanity, right? That they see it as like, here's a glimmer, like, oh my gosh, imagine like you're in that sleepy state and you're just kind of opening one eye, and you, like, as you start to open, it's like light is like a little tunnel and we're looking through this little tunnel, and that's all the light we have. And they're saying the sleepy times are past and we have this concentrated line, this concentrated area of arrival. We're just like a little bit awake. That's humanity right now. This teeny tiny column of awakening. So they're staying inside that. The angels are like, okay, that's where they're awake. We're going to stay in that spot so they see us. That's where they are. And they're saying the sleepy times are past, and you are becoming, quickening with every moment. So this is describing the awakening of humanity, that it's happening already, right? You feel us near, and we stay in resolve to help you pass. They're saying they are determined. They're not leaving us. They are here to help us to make it through this journey, to help all of humanity. They go on to say, we say in summary, the times ahead contain for you now a digestion of what was hardship in the times of memory. So, and this really gets to that last paragraph. They were talking about that people are going to be encountering this deepest, darkest part of themselves, that this is what's coming ahead, right? That this is what we're looking at. They're saying where was I? It's the digestion of what was hardship in the times of memory. So this is our opportunity to heal it, to digest it. So that is what the times ahead contain, the opportunity to digest the hardships of past times that are in our memories, in our cellular memories, in our, our Akashic records, all of it, right? They go on to say, they stay in your hearts, the hardships, they say the hardships, they stay in your hearts not long, but must be processed in the times ahead. And that's important, that the way to heal, and many of you are healers and you know this very well, but it never hurts to just say it aloud again, that the way that we heal is by acknowledging all those unseen parts of ourselves, by that's what loving ourselves means, right? It means allowing that all of those hurts happened, that they were as bad as we felt them to be, that they are true, that our suffering was true, that it really happened. And then to love ourselves through it, through the hardship, right? To be there for ourselves, to say, yep, that stunk. Like that was bad. And I'm there for myself, and I love me through it, and to feel the hurt and to allow it to move through, right? And that is what we're trying to do. They're saying it doesn't have to stay long, like 90 seconds will do it, but it must be processed in the times ahead. And that's really why I think that the process that I'm starting, the soul convergence, is all about that. It's about trying to help to help with that processing, to make it go smoothly, easily, fast. Yeah. The feelings of loss will be present. The sense of I have come and gone, and here I stay without. So even if we are on this path, and even if we are expecting all of this stuff, that we may still go through this feeling of loss, and to recognize as we're doing it, it's not going to last, just move through it, but the feeling of loss will be present, the sense of I have come and gone, and here I stay without, that there's something we're missing or lacking, right? That we're all going to experience that times are different. And so we all have that loss to process. Yeah. All right. And you're saying, love that we have choice. I know, right? Me too. It makes it, I think having the ability to choose to help, means that we are more invested in helping because it's our choice, right? It feels like we decided. And when we decide something, we become committed to it and we feel like we invest ourselves in it, right? So then we fall in love with it. We fall in love with that choice, with our path, with our process. All right. They go on to say, but know thyself in purity, in truth. You are always, I love this, you are always in a valley of hope and forgiveness when these teachings pass through. So they're saying that, so I love how, I mean, like, just think about that. They're saying when these teachings pass through, when we go through difficulties, we are always in a valley of hope and forgiveness. That it's like we are being carried by a river, a stream of hope and forgiveness. Whenever we're in difficulties, it's like they're saying you are so supported, right? Whenever we go through difficulty, yeah, you are always in a valley of hope and forgiveness. I love that. You are always in the river of the gestational field where things are created. And I love that too, right? You are always the instigators of your reality and focus. So they're saying that, and this is that idea of walking on air, like I was talking about in my meditation. It's about being in flow and trusting that even if we experience loss, it's just making space for us to create a reality that we like more. And so they say you are always the instigators of your reality and focus. Thus, what comes for you will be determined by the hearts you carry and the feelings that determine your way forward. So this is why it is so important for us to try right now to clear as much as we can, to heal as much as we can, to get into balance and to hold that balance as much as we can, because our hearts, our balanced hearts, will determine our way forward. Right? So that's it. That's it right there. They go on to say, thus we offer you now the hands we hold out to gather you closer. So they're saying that they're here to help us. They're here to, and to guide us through this process, right? Because they know that it's like, it is in terms of what reality we want to live in and how we're going to create it. They want to help us get to a place we want to be. They say to draw you toward us, to move internal the objective you carry, so to bring it into our hearts. What shall pass and become must stay the alignment to your truth, and this only. So this is what we need to hold, right? It is that balance, the alignment to your truth, and this only. So that is what we're trying to get to as part of this, and it is, I think. They're saying it gently, but I think that this is super, super important for us. I really do. And to trust all will follow in this regard. To feel for yourselves that you must only be guided by the column of light that enters you now, and to trust this as always, and to know no fear, as the hearts of many may be troubled, and you can rest assured you are guided to your truth and serenity. So that is the path forward for us. Right? And you're saying gestation refers to being in utero and creation of the new frequency. Ooh, don't you love that? That's a great metaphor for it. It really is. Like it's a rebirth of humanity. Yeah. All right. And then this is where here I am in my human brain, and I don't even hear all the beautiful things they just said. And I just hear they say something about loss. I'm like, what? And what can you ask more specifically? And I did that because I know a lot of people are curious too. Like I want to know for me and for you guys, can I ask more specifically, what is the hardship on the horizon? So what are you guys talking about? And they say, this is when they answer me. They say, there is coming a time of great friction between others. So that could be, and they say parties, yes, politics, and within the world of finance. So I think these are going to be the great big arenas of upheaval in the near future. And I think that can be, like right now we have a lot of strikes going on. I think there could be massive upheaval. Like in the US, our government, we're close to a government shutdown. There's crazy, crazy things going on in politics. There is right now a great big massive upheavals happening between Canada and India. And that's a whole issue. But think about how much turmoil that creates in the world because it's disturbing all of the alliances in the world. So the power structures and the way they've been are right now being rattled in a big way. And so they're saying it's, yes, parties, politics, but also in the world of finance. So we've already been going through the banking crisis, which they first told us about that a couple of years ago. They described the banking crisis, and now it's here. And it is the way they described it, but I don't know If it's done or not, I'm guessing not, because they say there's crises in finance too. And there becomes a celebrated, this is interesting, there becomes a celebrated talk of upliftment that may not come to pass. So I see this as, it's almost like there is some big wave where people feel like, oh my gosh, everything's going to be like the stock market's going up. Everybody buy in now, right? Like that's the feeling of it. A celebrated talk of upliftment, that's hard to say, of upliftment. So that is, to me, it's like everybody gets inspired to go all in, invest everything or whatever, jump into the stock market. And then they say it may not come to pass. So it's like that, whatever that upliftment is, it doesn't happen. Thus, all will follow the truth of this promise, right? Everybody jumps in and feel themselves dejected as all tumbles into loss. So whether that be a promise of some kind of political leadership or some, financial promise or whatever it is. But the idea is that there's a promise that's made that makes everybody kind of fully commit. And it's once they're fully, it's like going out on that bridge and then they yank it out from underneath them and they all fall. And that's kind of the idea here of like what creates this issue, what creates this massive hardship they're talking about. Yeah. And they say, thus all will follow the truth of this promise and feel themselves dejected as all tumbles into loss. And this we project forward to your knowledge as coming fast and soon. So this is in the near future. And I know you guys know it's the angelic soon, but here they're saying fast and soon, which I think is faster than soon, right? Yeah, I wish we should like quantify in angels. Maybe that's our first little indication that there's some understanding of time. All right, so here we go. But I think it could be, my feeling is that this last quarter of the year, these October, November, December, is going to be crazy times. And so for whatever that means, this could be happening in this last quarter. But that's me, that's human me, that's not channel me who thinks that. All right. So then here we go on to say, we feel within these horizon times that you will entrust to yourself the guardianship of hardship. I love this. That you will entrust to yourself the guardianship of hardship and feel yourselves well worthy of these tasks of caring for those who feel lost. So they're describing the loss, they're telling me what it is, but they're bringing me right back to the message that we are here to help those people who are suffering through the loss. They say that you are lifted among us and not lost. So they're saying you guys are not lost. So you got to help the people who are, right? Don't tarry in the memory of what was. Simply be yourselves among us, among the light you carry, and know you are bridging the rest to their own unification with ourselves. So they're saying, yeah, this is coming, but it is full of hope because we are here. And that is why. And that's why it's so important for us to know and for us to be ready. They go on to say the specifics of what you will encounter are coming within the time frame of the spectacle on the horizon. So I think when they say the spectacle on the horizon, I think they are meaning, I don't know, but my guess is as that solar flash that they are talking about, that solar, that the thing they said that is the moment we will look back on and point to and say that's the moment that changed everything. We got that message maybe a couple months ago now. And I think that may be what they're talking about here. The specifics of what you will encounter are coming within the time frame of the spectacle on the horizon. So I think that's what it means. Anybody else? If you have another interpretation, let me know, because I'm interested to hear it. And you're saying we will definitely need to re-listen to this message. I know, and it's kind of a long one. So thanks for sticking with me, you guys. And you're saying maybe fast actually means sooner. I think it does. That's how I took it. Yeah, for sure. All right, then they say, okay, so on the spectacle on the horizon, they say the instrument of the divine, which will shatter the perspectives. So I do think it's this, because they call it the instrument of the divine. And then they say it will shatter the perspectives. This whole section is fascinating to me. The instrument of the divine, which will shatter the perspectives of the meek and mild, who feel themselves overshadowed far too long, and may see within this guidance a perspective and envoy to be carried forward. So this gets to that idea that, that we've heard in religious texts, that idea that the meek will inherit the earth, right? That the oppressed. So they're saying here, they're speaking to that, saying, okay, this instrument of the divine, this great flash, is going to lift up even the people who are the most downtrodden, lift everybody up, right? The meek and the mild, who may feel themselves overshadowed far too long, like the worst oppressed in the world, get lifted by this light, right? And they may see within this a guidance, a perspective, an envoy to be carried forward. So this is hope. This is real potential to change, right? To change things. And then but then here is a part that's super interesting. And you're suggesting, you say, Lisa's saying spectacle can be drama in the world too. Oh, great point, Lisa. I feel like it will be playing out in many ways. Yeah, you're totally right. And spectacle can be drama. That is a great point. Yeah, so it could be just the drama on the horizon. Yeah. And Teresa's saying, does this mean like an EMP effects, no electricity? I don't think so. I don't think it's that. They did talk before, if you remember, a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, might be longer than that. They gave us a message about 3 days of darkness, and it was right. But I don't believe it's a thing where we come out of it without power. I did think that at the time. I was trying to understand it and interpret it, but they talked about a reset of technology. They said that the consciousness of technology is a negative consciousness, and it needs to reset. And so it's like 3 days of darkness, but they said we don't lose everything we know. So then there's a reboot, right? So it's like a resetting of the consciousness of technology, which is interesting with AI being what it is today. But no, I don't think, they did not say that it was a solar flash that would like fry technology. So, but they didn't mention it, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't happen. So they just have not said that. I think they would have, if that was true. I think they would have said it. And you're saying, I like that the word horizon could potentially be literal too, if it means something like a flare or other astronomical event. Watch the horizon to see it live, maybe. Do you know, a friend of mine, after I think I shared this recently, but after I channeled that about that flash, 2 people I know had specific dreams about it. One of them saw herself in a car with a person next to her, and she sees the light on the horizon, and it starts coming towards her, and she feels it come and wash over them. It was exactly, and she hadn't heard the message. That was crazy, but she dreamt about it. And I know another person that dreamt about it too, and it was exactly the way that the angels described it, which is super exciting because, yeah, I want that to happen. Yes, please, right? You're saying, ooh, that will be kind of cool when we see it. I think it'll be amazing, right? Yeah, amazing. All right, so here they say, so now they just said that basically the meek and the mild will have this feeling of hope that comes, right? The guidance and perspective and envoy to be carried forward. And then they say, but in truth, all are valued and equal, the proud and the shamed. So interesting here, because the religious texts all say the meek will inherit the earth. And they say greed is bad, greed is bad, greed is bad. But we know the angels don't believe in judgment, right? That the idea that we all have different lives. We've all been super poor and super rich in our different lives. We've all been the good guy and the bad guy. These are just learning experiences that we've had. So here they're saying all are valued and equal, the proud and the shamed. All are held in loving guidance. All are entrusted to the divine and in friendship with one another. So it's interesting. I think that my suspicion is that in those texts that say the meek will inherit the earth, that it sounds like a really great way of keeping people oppressed, saying that you should be meek and let us lead, right? Like that's the vibe. And the angels are saying the meek are loved, but so are the proud, and they deserve love and to be helped as well, right? That the goal is to get everybody to this space of being centered and balanced where nobody is meek and nobody is proud, right? Where everybody is equal. But to get there, everybody has to be loved. So yeah, the proud and the shamed, all are held in loving guidance. All are entrusted to the divine and in friendship with one another. So there's a plug saying we have to support one another. We have to support everyone, and they equally. And then they say, and we wish to prove to yourselves your worth simply by the bridging of these times, to show yourselves the meekness and the folly are but one reflection of the same. So they're saying that basically that the being meek or being, the folly would be being, greedy or power hungry or whatever, to the opposite of meek, right? So the meekness and the folly are but one reflection of the same. So they're saying it's all the same. Doesn't matter which polar opposite we go to. If we go to being totally being the oppressor or being the oppressed, they say it's just two sides of the same coin, right? And then they say, one reflection of the same, and you are within the guidance of your hearts as you move between these points of consciousness. So even more interesting, they're saying that as we experience these different lives where we have lived these polar opposites, we have been guided by our hearts the entire time. So there's never a point in any one of our lives where we were inherently bad, ever. Like, we were never bad. The moments that we were the most oppressed or stomped on, we weren't wrong for being stomped on. And the moments where we were the most greedy and oppressing, we weren't wrong because of, at the end of the day, we were having an experience just like we all were. Everyone, in every life we've had, we've been having an experience. But from those experiences, we judge ourselves and carry those wounds. And that's what needs to be cleared. Right? But I love that they say that you are within the guidance of your hearts as you move between these points of consciousness, that we were always following our heart and the lessons we wanted to learn. And then I'm persistent, so I ask again, is this economic hardship a crash of the markets or the banks? Like I said, it's hard for me to clue into what the real message is when I'm channeling. So I just was trying to ask for specifics for you guys. And here they say, and they do get specific, they say, all will fall through, tumble far beyond the near and done. So this is a much bigger crash than recent crashes. They're saying that it's a big crash, big fat crash is what they're saying. There will be great trouble in the horizon of fortunes, and this must be known to yourselves. And I think this is important because when they talked about the banking crisis way back when, several years ago, if you go back and listen to that message, they said that the people who would be most affected by the banking crisis would be those people who had really large deposits, people whose money was not insured by the federal government, who were beyond the FDIC limits for insurance in the bank. And that is exactly what happened. The people who most suffered it was the startup banks, where the startup companies have to keep lots of money on deposit with the bank because they get money that from investors, and they use that to cover their operating expenses. So they could have $10 million sitting in the bank to cover payroll. And those deposits are not insured because they're above the FDIC limit. So those big depositors are the ones that got hammered by the bank closures, because the FDIC covered anybody who was a smaller depositor. And so it's exactly the way they described it. And so that is what they're talking about here, is the big fortunes, people who have the power structures in the world, right? It was great trouble in the horizon of fortunes, right? And this must be known to yourselves. There will be an unfolding of catastrophic proportions where all enveloped within the greed of having too many will be wanting for more and finding they are lacking. So, and I think that is a clever twist of words right there. It's saying it's catastrophic proportions. So this is not a tiny, like this is, and it needs to be. It needs to be an emptying out of pockets because it has to be a thing where power structures can't hold on to power any longer. And there has to be this big shift. And this doesn't mean that, the world is permanently shattered. And I don't know like how things are going to turn out. All I know is that I'm being guided to do things that require basic services to be available. I know my kids are being guided to do things that require the world to be functioning in one way or another. So the world will go on, but I think it will just look a lot different. And I think this is an opportunity to shake loose some of the things that are keeping us stuck. And allow us to experience this flow of living in the river, right? This gestational field of creation that we get to be in. But this part here, they're saying that all enveloped within the greed of having too many will be wanting for more, right? Which is just a reference back to what is greed. Greed is never having enough. So all enveloped in the greed of having too many will be wanting for more and finding they are lacking. And in these times of suffering, and I love this, they come back to it with love. They say, in these times of suffering, though they are carrying hearts of even quality, they're saying that even the greediest in the world is just as deserving of love as I am or you are, or any of us. And they say, even though they are carrying hearts of even quality, all as you are, they are suffering differently. So, and I think that's, what they're saying here is, I think, if anything, that they require more compassion, more love, because of the fact that it doesn't matter why they hurt. The fact is that they hurt, right? The fact is that they will be in terrible fear. And that's what we should see, not their greed, not, where they've gone wrong, but instead see that their heart is the same as ours. And what they're feeling is devastating loss and fear. Yeah. And to just feel only compassion for them. And they say, and we offer each the avenue of rescue, which is yourselves. Your open hearts shall serve to bridge the gap of rescue. And that is just super awesome. You'll be expecting to see that one in a quote from Ivy. It is really cool. We'll be having a graphic of that because that is beautiful. So yeah. And you're saying, my brain hears, have no fear, but something bad is going to happen. I know, Karen. And it is scary, but remember that they're being pretty specific about it. And they're talking about fortunes. So if you are a secret gazillionaire, if you're a lottery winner, then let us know. But if not, they're saying, don't worry about it. Like, just let it unfold and we'll see where it takes us. And like I said, the world needs to continue to function. So, and as we hold this energy, there's this idea of this gestational field. And I can feel it. Like when I was traveling, magical things would happen. We got off the plane in Iceland and we wanted to go, and we just, long flight. So we thought, let's go to one of the thermal spas. And we decided to go to this place called Sky Lagoon, which is a little bit less touristed and it looked gorgeous, right? It's this huge, it's like it feels like a natural pool because it's surrounded by giant these cliffs. So you have all these kind of like twisty little canyons of water in this all like heated with thermal water. And there's even like a thermal waterfall where there's hot water you could stand underneath, and it's all right up against the ocean. So you can look out at the sea, like incredible. And we get there and they have a big sign up saying they're full for the day, that you can't go in. And so I'm standing there, we're disappointed. And I think, well, let's just ask. So I walk up to the guy and he's like, yeah, we're totally full. You could do the more expensive program, but that's like, if you buy the full package, which has all these extras, including like this ritual that you can go through where you get to go through like the mud room and the steam room and the salt scrub and the blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. Really fun. And, but I wasn't feeling like I wanted to spend that much. So I was like, okay, I guess we don't get to do it. And he's like, well, I'll let you guys go now and I'll give you the extra stuff for free. And I was like, yes, gestational field. Yes, it's so awesome. So we went in and did the whole thing and we got to do it immediately. We didn't have to wait. We got to do the whole package. And that just kept happening on the trip, right? It'd be like, oh, guess what? You're upgraded your room. You get this fabulous suite. Thank you. It was awesome. And not that it was all that. We had our fair share of like long flights and things like that, but there was certainly plenty of the goodies that happened on the trip, and just so much fun, so many magical moments, and that's, I think, where we want to be. Like, why not? Why shouldn't it happen? Like we look at that and say, that's amazing. What if it's not amazing? What if that's just what we expect, what we hope for, and what we fulfill in our lives? Good stuff. So, and Teresa's saying, I love this message. Such a great message. Thank you, Martha, Teresa. I appreciate that so much. And Karen, hopefully that helps to quiet your nerves, unless you really are a lottery winner, in which case I'm really sorry. And then Mike says, I look forward to hearing the whole message on YouTube. Awesome. And So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me. I am posting, and Amina posted the link for Soul Convergence. It is, like I said, an incredibly timely, and I feel for me, a very important offering that I'm super, super excited to share with you guys. I feel like it has the potential to bring us into that balanced state in a very, very gentle way to do major transformative work. So if you want to find out more, the link, it's anntucker.com/soul-convergence. I'm putting the link in. And then, and I will also be doing some webinars to help to talk about it, to share information. And in those webinars, I will be sharing some super cool meta conversation about what is actually happening in this ascension. What is the big picture? What does masculine energy and feminine energy mean in depth? And it is surprising. I know lots of you are pretty expert in this, but there will be things in here that will surprise you. So you will come, if you come to the webinars, you will just come, even if you just come to the webinar, you will come away with some cool stuff, some cool learnings. So, all right, you guys, have a fabulous weekend. Peace Bathers, don't forget, Peace Bathing is on Sunday, so I will see you there. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next Friday live.